Welcome to Alien Mythos X.
In the scorching summer of 1947, something crashed in the desert near Roswell, New Mexico. What happened next would become the most famous UFO incident in history, sparking decades of conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, and endless speculation. It was July 2nd, 1947. Mac Brazel, a rancher working on the Foster Ranch, was making his routine rounds when he noticed something unusual scattered across his property. Metallic debris was spread over a wide area, unlike anything he had ever seen before. The material was strange, impossibly light, yet incredibly strong. When he tried to cut it, it wouldn't break. When he crumpled it, it returned to its original shape. Brazel gathered some of the debris and took it to the nearby town of Roswell. He showed it to the local sheriff, George Wilcox, who immediately contacted the Roswell Army Airfield. This was no ordinary military base. It was home to the 509th Bomb Group, the only atomic bomb squadron in the world at that time. Major Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer from the base, was sent to investigate. When Marcel arrived at the crash site, he was stunned. The debris field stretched for 3/4 of a mile. There were pieces of a foil-like material that couldn't be burned or torn, strange I-beams with hieroglyphic-like symbols, and fragments that seemed to have no earthly origin. Marcel collected samples and brought them back to the base. But something happened that night that would change everything. According to his later testimony, Marcel was ordered to stop his investigation. The debris he had collected was taken away, and he was told to remain silent. On July 8, 1947, the public information officer at Roswell Army Airfield, Lieutenant Walter Haut, issued a press release that made headlines around the world. It stated that the military had recovered a flying disc from a ranch near Roswell. The Roswell Daily Record published the story with the headline, "RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region." Radio stations broadcast the news nationwide. The world was
Move out!
electrified.
Secure the perimeter!
And the
Yes,
military
sir!
just confirmed the
Fan out!
existence
Report
of
any anomalies!
extraterrestrial
Roger that, Major.
spacecraft. But within hours, the story changed. General Roger Ramey, commander of the 8th Air Force in Fort Worth, Texas, held a press conference. He displayed weather balloon debris and claimed that Major Marcel had simply misidentified a conventional weather device. The flying disc story was dismissed as a mistake. Photographs were taken showing Marcel and Ramey posing with weather balloon materials. The official explanation was simple. It was just a weather balloon from Project Mogul, a top-secret program designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Over the years, numerous witnesses came forward with disturbing claims. Some reported seeing not just debris but actual bodies. Glenn Dennis, a mortician working in Roswell, claimed that the military contacted him asking about small, child-sized caskets and preservation techniques for bodies exposed to the elements. Multiple military personnel, including nurses and medical staff, allegedly saw small humanoid bodies with large heads and unusual features being transported to the base hospital. These witnesses described beings that were approximately 4 to 5 feet tall, with grayish skin and oversized eyes. Sergeant Robert Smith, who was stationed at Roswell, later testified that he was ordered to guard a hangar containing unusual debris and what appeared to be bodies covered with tarps. He was told never to speak about what he saw under threat of severe consequences. Perhaps most compelling are the deathbed confessions. Major Jesse Marcel, in interviews before his death, insisted that what he handled that day
I remember
was
that.
not
It was
from this
1947.
earth. He described the material's properties
The sky
as
just
beyond
opened up.
any known technology of the time. Lieutenant Walter Haut, who issued the original press release, left a sealed affidavit to be opened after his death. In it, he claimed that he had personally seen the craft and the bodies. He stated that there was indeed a cover-up and that the weather balloon story was a carefully orchestrated deception. For nearly 50 years, the U.S. government maintained that the Roswell incident was nothing more than
Hello?
a crashed
We have a
weather
situation.
balloon.
Get here now.
But in
What's
1994,
happening?
the
Not
Air
time,
Force
move. On
released
my
a
way.
report admitting that
Yes,
the
the
weather balloon
preparations are
story
complete.
was
The
incomplete.
table equipment are ready.
They revealed that
It's
it was
unsettling,
actually
but
a
proceed.
Project Mogul balloon, part of a classified surveillance program. Then, in 1997, on the 50th anniversary of the incident,
have to tell the
Air
truth now.
Force released
What we
another
found
report
was not of
addressing
this
the
world.
claims about
They made
alien
us lie.
bodies. They suggested that witnesses had confused memories of crash test dummies used in high-altitude experiments during the 1950s with the 1947 incident. But this explanation raised more questions than it answered. How could trained military personnel and civilians confuse events separated by years? Why would crash test dummies need to be handled with such extreme secrecy? Today, the Roswell incident remains one of the most analyzed and debated events in UFO history. Declassified documents show unusual military activity in the area during July 1947. Flight logs indicate that debris was flown from Roswell to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, home of the Foreign Technology Division. Investigators have pointed out inconsistencies in the official narrative. Why would the military's elite atomic bomb squadron misidentify a simple weather balloon? Why were witnesses threatened with imprisonment if they spoke about what they saw? Why did the story change so many times over the decades? The Roswell incident transformed how we think about the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation. It sparked the modern UFO movement and inspired countless investigations, books, movies, and television shows. The town of Roswell itself has embraced its place in UFO lore, with museums, festivals, and tours dedicated to the incident. But beyond the tourism and pop culture,
We have a situation.
serious
Get here now.
questions remain.
What's happening?
Documents
Not time,
continue
move.
to be
On my way.
declassified.
Yes, the
Witnesses,
preparations
though
are
aging,
complete.
continue
The
to
table
come
equipment
forward,
are ready.
and
It's
researchers
unsettling, but
continue to
proceed.
uncover new details that challenge the official narrative. What really crashed in the New Mexico desert in 1947?
I have to
Was it
tell
an
the truth now.
experimental military
What we
device,
found was not
a
of this world.
top-secret surveillance
They made us
balloon,
lie.
or something far more extraordinary? The truth is that we may never know with absolute certainty. Too much time has passed. Too many witnesses have died. Too many documents remain classified or have been destroyed. But the Roswell incident reminds us that sometimes the official explanation doesn't quite add up. And in a world where governments have admitted to studying UFOs, where military pilots report encounters with objects that defy the laws of physics, and where the question of extraterrestrial life is taken seriously by scientists, perhaps the Roswell incident deserves more than a dismissive explanation. What happened in Roswell remains one of the greatest mysteries of the modern age, and until all the evidence is revealed, the debate will continue.